Tonight on Studio 12, we're lifting off to new heights as a Colorado balloon takes flight at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Then, with fall in full swing, we're putting those delicious apples to good use and learning how to preserve them into foods that last. Then, we hear from founders at Colorado Startup Week about the real grit and drive needed to be successful in today's business climate. And the very first mariachi degree program right here in Colorado. All that and more right now on Studio 12.
From the Five Points Media Center in the heart of Denver, Colorado, this is Studio 12.
Hi, I'm Bazi Kanani. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is a bucket list event for many, a sky filled with color, representing tradition and family legacies that lift off year after year. And this year, one balloon in particular carried a special piece of Colorado. In our Viewfinder segment, PBS 12's photojournalist Rico Romero followed a former Denver family whose balloon bears the flag of the Mile High City and whose story goes back generations.
We are at Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
Balloon Fiesta is somewhere where they put the balloons up to fly.
Your arms get real tired on this part.
Balloon Fiesta is a time when pilots from around the nation and around the United States all come together in one place, Albuquerque, and they fly.
We're based in the Triad area around Raleigh and Durham in North Carolina.
Everyone just comes together and they fly in the beautiful skies of Albuquerque.
I like it, and most of the time they blow up the special shape.
You can have shapes, you have ride balloons, you have standard balloons, you have anywhere from small balloons to super big 16-passenger balloons.
The Balloon Fiesta is a 9-day annual event that happens the first 2 full weekends in October and the week in between those.
There's a certain pride to fly at festivals and be the show for the people that they paid to get into.
The sights, the smells, I don't know if you noticed, ballooning has a specific smell to it. The leather, the propane, everything, it just, you get around the sights, the sounds, and the smells, and I just got obsessed with it again.
It's been occurring since 1972.
Haven't been to the Fiesta in a few years, but, love it. I like to tell people it's like walking among giants, because that's what you feel like when these balloons start inflating and you're also amongst them. It makes me think of walking with giants.
It brings together people from all across the globe to see this magical event.
Watching people who have not experienced this before see that for the first time. You can't describe it to anybody, to people. So when you see that on somebody's face, it's just, it never gets old.
They're right here. I got the UNM one from the cherry on top, Darth Vader and Frankenstein.
The balloon is what used to be Denver, the city and county of Denver's flag.
So 5280 flyer, that's a balloon I learned how to fly in with Marnie's mom, or my mother-in-law. My mother and father-in-law, they were, they are natives of Colorado, natives of Denver. So when they were able to hand that balloon over to Marnie and myself, it's just been that balloon that we've always flown.
It's a big part of who we are as a family. John and I learned how to fly on that balloon, and it's still our favorite.
I think it's year 18 I've been flying here. Been coming here for about 27 years now.
You have your blood family, and then you have your balloon family. We are a big community. I know pilots from all over the country, a few from around the world.
I have a lot of friends that are like, oh, it's so awesome you're a pilot's daughter. I'm like, I'm not just a pilot's daughter. I'm crew. I'm there waking up with them early in the morning doing weather checks.
There are a number of families where it's generational.
There are quite a few generational balloon families probably on this field this week.
I have been coming to Balloon Fiesta my entire life. actually since in utero, which is kind of crazy. The first time I came, I was about 9 months old. My parents had just both got their pilot's license. My grandma flew, and I've come every year since, minus a few here and there because of reasons. But I've been coming for the past 21 years, and it's awesome, and I look forward to being a future pilot.
It's great to have our kids here. Marnie, she grew up doing this.
So my dad put me in a little carrier and took me up. I do not know life without ballooning.
I'll be third generation once I get my pilot's license.
We really didn't push the kids to fly. You know, we asked them, hey, do you guys want to fly? And it wasn't until recently where they're like, yeah, Dad, we want to start learning how to fly.
My grandma was a full-time gas balloon pilot and normal pilot on top of being a radiologist and doctor. We call her Nuna, but she's Carol to everybody else.
The story goes that at the time they had one car, and so my mom sold the car to buy a share into their very first balloon.
She is someone who's in the Hall of Fame. You see her picture around, you remember who she is. Like, she is the picture of Balloon Fiesta. It's hard not having her, like, here to, like, see the beauty of it, but, like, I have my mom and I have my dad, and, like, I'm there for the heartbreak and the tears. Like, I've been here, like, this entire time, and it's, like, I don't know, it's fun to have fun doing something that's hard and missing people, and you just have to make the best out of a hard situation that has now turned into memories and power and so much more than just ballooning.
It's made my connection to ballooning grow stronger. It was, as Margaret mentioned, it was very, very difficult for a couple of years in there. It's wonderful to talk to people now and understand the impact my mom made on them in just a moment or a time in their lives, and so that's really, it's been really rewarding and wonderful and healing for me to hear other people's stories about her.
For me, it's all about carrying on the legacy, and it's what she would want us to do.
My mom and dad fly. My mom doesn't fly as much because Carol is not here anymore, but she is the definition of my grandma. And my dad carries the legacy, and he carries a pin with just her, like, and just seeing, like, my mom, like, looks just like my grandma, and just being able to see her and, like, living out her mom's legacy and, like, being an awesome mom and being an awesome wife, and, like, she works so hard, and just seeing her come out here and, like, put a brave face and smile, like, it's inspiring. I'm super proud of my family, and, like, I love my dad and I'm proud of what he does, and, like, but it's like my mom's thing. Like, my dad's a pilot because of my mom. It's really hard, like, missing people who you haven't had the relationship and been able to grow up with, like, so, like, Carol is the image and the backbone to, like, what we are as a family, and, like, yeah, she's not here, but, like, we carry her with us every day, and my mom is such an awesome person and such a beautiful person, and so is my dad, and to see my dad fly and my mom being like, okay, like, I'm gonna get back into it and do this, like, it's super awesome, and just being here and, like, being back in Albuquerque, like, embracing her culture and embracing Balloon Fiesta has been super awesome to see the past couple of years, because it was really hard for a long time, and now it's just seeing, like, the power and the movement behind what my grandma did, and now my parents are carrying on, and what I hope to carry on after them. Like, I hope to be a great, awesome balloon pilot like my parents are, but you just never know. Like, you don't ever know.
An incredible story. So much love and loss intertwined in just that one family's ballooning journey. You can catch more of Rico Romero's stories celebrating the people and places that lift our communities right here on Studio 12. Next up, fall is in the air, and so are the smells of fresh apples. PBS 12's Erica McClarity heads to an interactive workshop with Denver Urban Gardens that teaches people how to turn autumn apple harvest into healthy homemade food. Take a look.
Move over, pumpkin spice, because this season it's all about the apples. From the sauce to the apple butter to the vinegar, we're here at the Posner Center with Denver Urban Gardens for a workshop on preserving our apples. So there's a lot of recipes to get to today. I can't wait. Let's get preserving.
Tonight we are hosting a piece of our preservation series, so apple preservation. We're going to be working with all of our participants to teach them how to preserve the bounty of their fruit trees.
So the very first class that we did was dehydrating.
Leading the class is Chef Paula Thomas, a longtime cook who turned her passion for food preservation into a way of life.
I have been cooking professionally for more than 20 years. I've been cooking my entire life because my mother taught me how to cook since I was a very young girl. But I started preserving in 2009 when I got my first CSA, Community Shared Agriculture, and it was fruit. And there was so much fruit and I didn't know what to do with it. So then it's, grown into something that I'm really passionate about. I love everything preservation. Now my home, we only eat seasonal, which means I have to preserve everything. So here we're gonna make an applesauce, which you can if you want to. Today we're gonna pass some of it through a mill because we're gonna make apple leather. So apple leather is the second child of your applesauce. Put it in your oven. I use a sheet pan and I use a seal pack. You're like, what? So many things just happened. We'll come back to this. I just wanted to tell you all of that because you're gonna go out in the wild. You're gonna cut your apples just like I showed you. Cut it in slices, leave the core intact.
Well, my auntie, we had a garden. She started me garden, and it just been keeping me at peace, keeping me from drinking, drugging, fighting, arguing, and it just gave me a peace to be in the garden. Then somebody started teaching me how to can and preserve and store properly. I'm excited every time I come here. I turn off my phone. I end the day right before class. Nobody after 5. I don't even deal with traffic, nothing. It's all about the gardening and my trainings.
And who are you here with?
I'm here with my Aunt Lorenz.
Hello. Hi. How are y'all doing today? I've been doing gardening a long time, all my life basically, with my mom. And when my mom passed away, I started doing gardening on my own. And then I called my niece and asked her if she wanted to be a part.
And what are you most excited to make today?
Apple butter.
And have you made it before?
I have not. I've seen it in the stores and stuff, but I've never made it before.
My mom always has bags of apples that she's bought, and she's kind of drilled in me that they're the lowest sugar fruit, and so good to eat all the time. So.
And then I'm gonna add, I absolutely love cloves. So I'm gonna add the tiniest bit of cloves. Not too much because I don't want it to overwhelm.
While Paula shares the how-to, Denver Urban Gardens is focused on the why, using food preservation as a tool for sustainability and community.
I mean, food waste is a huge problem in the U.S. We waste over 40% of food that's grown. So this is a really great way to learn how to preserve those apples. It's a core part of our mission, so to provide people with the skills that they need to be able to grow healthy food for their families, and then what to do with all that healthy produce. Looking at food sovereignty, looking at ways to encourage healthy eating, and then of course using all of that fresh grown produce that we're growing in our gardens. So apples, traditionally, applesauce, dehydrating apples is a great way to make a snack, especially for active Coloradans, hiking up mountains, going in the ski season. Apples we typically think of as a sweet product, but we can grow a lot of different tart apples. They can also be used as a savory recipe. So we harvested some fresh sage from our herb garden that we're going to be featuring. So none of it goes to waste. You can use every piece of the apple and grow make some really great food to share with your neighbors. So the seeds and the bits and pieces you'll see we actually use for apple cider vinegar. So there's a lot of the parts that would normally go into our compost, be put back into the soil, grow healthy soils. We're going to use those to ferment them and turn them into a vinegar. That's another kind of health tonic that we would use for benefits.
You add your sugar melts. So it becomes liquid. In baking, sugar is actually part of the liquids. I feel like a grandma. I'm gonna try to pass it through here. Again, this is a labor of love with my tiny little sieve. Yum. Okay.
And one thing we've noticed in the preservation series this season is that we have a lot of repeat folks coming back, and they've really built a little community. So we have our Doug Online, we have a preservation circle that we started where folks can connect beyond just being here in person and share recipes, talk about their successes, ask questions.
Just here to eat apples.
And did you come by yourself?
I did.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's it like coming here and meeting people?
Well, these ladies have been lovely to chat with. But yeah, I just moved back to Denver and was just super excited to get more involved with Doug. And this was just an event that seemed like a really great introduction for them.
Well, we learned a lot today, but my favorite part was not learning alone. We had so much fun with all these other people, and you know what? Apple preserving really isn't just about food. It's about tradition and connection and just slowing down and enjoying the simple stuff.
When you think about startups, you may think about big success stories, venture capital funding, and fast growth, the kinds of things that make headlines. But at Colorado Startup Week, founders were quick to remind us that real business stories sometimes go down behind the scene, where there's a lot of doubt and where grit and drive are what keeps the entrepreneurial dream alive and thriving. Here's a look at insights and advice straight from the entrepreneurs shaping Colorado's business landscape.
Every entrepreneur has 7 or 10 challenges every week. I mean, it's hard to identify one or two. It's just a constant, right? And so you get used to that. And I think starting out, there were some challenges like, how are we going to figure out technologically how to let people take a picture of their receipt and use optical character recognition technology to, pull that data off a receipt? That was a technical challenge. More recently, we came out with a product called Pay with Ibotta that was a total flop. That was a big challenge, recovering from that and pivoting our business. And I think just more broadly, when you're in the public market, you got to maintain a focus on the long term when a lot of people are encouraging you to focus on the short term, and that's a challenge. So there are all different kinds of challenges. The pandemic, I gathered the whole company together and said, everybody, please leave your things at your desk. We'll be back in 2 weeks after we flatten the curve. Not exactly how it played out. So we had layoffs, right after the pandemic. That was very challenging. So, there are a lot of different moments that really try your emotional resiliency as a founder. And I think that more than your intelligence, more than your work ethic really predicts whether you're successful or not.
Don't underestimate how difficult this can be and how uncommon those stories are with how many folks want to be doing this. I say that because if you come in knowing it's going to be difficult, then you're likely to persevere through the challenges, of which there are many. So saying yes and having an idea is certainly not enough. Saying yes and saying I'm willing to work for this idea and work really long hours because I'm passionate about it, I think it can make a really big difference in the world. That's the kind of folks we need deciding to be founders. So yeah, don't underestimate that it's hard. Don't just say yes because it's a fun thing to do and you've heard other people do it. Do it because you're passionate about it. You wouldn't want to do anything else. If that's calling to you, be a founder. I always say it was a combination of being really confident and assertive about the things that I know really well and I'm confident I've led a career in education, and then being really humble and seeking out wisdom from others around the things that I was not expert in, like technology, like running a business. And that combination has made this journey a lot smoother.
The biggest mistake that most early stage founders make are trying to grow the business before they have some amount of product market fit. If you don't know whether or not people will actually pay for your product and that you can build a business on it, what are you doing? 100% of effort in the early days should be focused on getting and proving product market fit. But I see too many founders spending money on other things way before they have that figured out. For an early stage founder, 100% of your time, product market fit.
So in our research, we talk about two types of customers, high value and provisional. And in a startup, you need every customer you can get because you're testing actually in a startup. But once you determine what kind of customer you want, the provisional customer comes in and does this to your business. They don't trust you at the beginning. They ask for discounts. They ask for working with just your special people. So what we started doing was measuring the difference in service between a provisional customer and a high value customer. And a provisional customer takes 400% more time. So four more emails versus one of the high value. You have to go through gyrations to get there, all the things that you did to get the revenue. At the end of it, they're lower margin. They were hard on your people, and they never give you a reference.
Yeah.
And yet we're chasing that revenue in businesses that are struggling to grow. You know, consumers are that fickle group too of what you have to do to market to get somebody to take your product, or especially if you're using distribution through certain groups. So some that are stuck and kind of figuring it out, and those that are having chaos, the common theme between both of those problems is in what we call the focus system. The reason we call it a system of focus is its goal is to increase the win rate in the market that you want.
I think I would have told myself 3 things. First of all, it's a lot harder to say no sometimes than to say yes, but a great entrepreneur needs to learn how to say no. You can't do everything that in your mind seems exciting. There are invisible trade-offs that will break your organization. So you have to learn how to remain truly focused on the thing that's the most important. That would have been thing number 1. Thing number 2 would have been, it's a long game. You know, what you think the business is right now, maybe something very different in 5 years or 5 years after that, and build the foundation of a company that has the capacity to see those opportunities as you go, that can pursue a good new idea, no matter where it comes from, and doesn't matter who gets credit for that idea, and you'll be able to evolve and stay in business and thrive. And third, I would just say, get a coach, get a therapist, figure out how to support your own mental health, because it's an incredibly stressful job. And a lot of folks think they can just sort of put on the armor and play the role of I've got it all figured out. But a better form of leadership is often to be much more real, authentic, vulnerable, and draw people in and rally the organization so you're converting the highest possible percentage of everybody's good ideas into reality, not just the founder's ideas.
You know, we opened our first location in 2013, it's 2025. We now have 7 locations, we have 300 employees. We're about to open up, 5 more locations within the next 18 months. And the biggest lesson for me, being a founder of a small business, was really making sure that I was building a team around me that I could trust to be able to do the things that I could do. Because, just because it's my business doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the best manager, right? Or the best chef, or the best marketer. And so when you're scaling a business, you have to remember, what is your role? And for me, I'm the founder, and I think that I have the vision of where we're going. And I have to be able to make sure that I'm inspiring and motivating everyone around me so that we have the shared vision to be able to go after that goal.
We'll be featuring several more interviews from Colorado Startup Week in our upcoming shows, so be sure to look out for those here on Studio 12. If you'd like to catch our full Colorado Startup Week conversations, you can go to our YouTube channel, or you can listen to them in the podcasts on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Podcasts. Mariachi isn't just a style of music, it's a tradition rich in culture that's been passed down through generations. And now it's also the foundation of a groundbreaking new college major right here in Colorado. MSU Denver has launched the nation's very first Bachelor of Arts degree in Mariachi Performance and Culture. We take you inside the classroom, where we sat down with the professor teaching this unique program to learn more about it and to hear from his students, too. Take a look.
Here we go. Ready? This is your note.
I actually started out with cello, but there was a need for violins in my school. I think it was around 8th grade.
Then just kind of pick a comfortable mama or ma.
So I switched over to violin, and I found out that it was the best instrument ever. I fell in love with it.
When I play classical music, people love it, they're involved, but nobody's clapping along and singing. People aren't dancing.
I grew up in Mexico, so growing up over there in a really small town, it was really interesting because there would be mariachi groups playing all the time, and my dad would be playing music at home, mariachi music, all the time, and he would be singing it as well.
Sing the top line for me. This is number 8. Ready? Ooh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't even know that like mariachi was taught, to be honest. I thought it was something that you were like, hey, can I join you guys? Hi, my name is Hayel Falcon, and I am in my second year here at MSU. It's called Mariachi Ensemble, and what I personally really like is that, for me, especially living here in the United States, it's been kind of hard to make friends from my own heritage and with common interests. And I feel like here in mariachi, I feel like we're all in here because we want to be. And we're all with shared interest, and it feels like a family. And that's why I really like it.
This is a class that anybody at Metro can take at Metropolitan State University. Here we go.
For me, playing the violin is something that I've just been doing throughout school, just my whole life. My head is really busy all the time. I'm constantly thinking thoughts. There's something always going on in my head. And sometimes it's tiring. And when I play the violin, it goes quiet. And I immerse myself in the music, and I feel the music. I feel it in my heart. It's really nice.
I'm originally from Pueblo, and I was in a mariachi program. And MSU, I think it was when Dr. Fischer first came in. He did like a teaching thing for a day, and that was like my first introduction to the band.
I am the assistant professor of music at Metropolitan State University and director of Mariachi Los Correcaminos de MSU Denver. That's a lot of words.
I think it was about a year ago, Dr. Fischer told me that like some exciting stuff was happening here at MSU.
Let's try the top part first. I've been teaching here since the fall of 22 and found that mariachi was part of it. 1, 2, 3. A lot of students will say, oh yeah, my grandmother when she was cleaning, or my uncle was in a mariachi band, and on Sundays Sunday afternoons it was mariachi. Good. Let's try. My students actually, a lot of them know more than me. That can be intimidating, and so I really need to be on my A game. So how do you do that stopping?
My parents always had like electric keyboards lying around. They had like all of these little instruments around the house because we're kind of a musical family. All of these instruments laying around that I would constantly be picking up and playing until my parents were one day like, do you want to pick up an instrument? And I was like, absolutely I do.
I come from a decently musical family, so I had always played the guitar, but I'd never really taken it too serious until I joined that class.
It really started with this idea of, I talked to some mariachi and kind of mentors, and I was like, so as they were talking about their experience in mariachi, a lot of them had gone to college, but they couldn't study their own instruments. They couldn't study guitarrón, they couldn't study vihuela, they couldn't study mariachi guitar, they couldn't study mariachi trumpet. And so I thought that's an inequity.
I was immediately like intrigued, and then here I am. So.
And then I thought, well, so how does this fit into something bigger? The first step was to reach out to Chicano Studies and say, okay, what classes could we make, or what classes could we collaborate on to create this degree?
Yeah, there's some Chicano study courses, some business courses. I think it's a pretty well-rounded degree. It gives you a little bit of everything.
And as I looked at some other programs, there are a few other Mariachi Major programs. And I thought to myself, well, it seems like this is a pre-existing degree with mariachi built on it. And I said, it doesn't seem like, it feels like we could contextualize a little bit more what we're doing in terms of my mariachi kind of understanding what they're doing, what they're saying, and how to integrate into the culture in a kind of a responsive way. I worked with their program director, Sarah Jackson Shumati, who walked me through how to do all this. So worked with the chair of the Chicano Studies Department, Adriana Nieto, and the chair of the World Languages Department to get like Spanish in there, and also some business courses. And that's what we built the degree around. Of course there's music courses, but due to the requirements of a music degree, pre-existing music degree, they would have had to do a lot more courses than I thought were relevant, and not as many courses that I thought would be relevant to mariachi. That was kind of how I thought about the degree. I said private study, and then I want to have a program that's relevant to the students, because I never want the students to say, why am I in this class? What is the point of this? So yeah.
The degree will teach me like the more technical part of like how to handle money and all of that stuff, but the real like experience comes from just like, if you're at work, just ask. To me, it just really means that I can connect with like this part of me that like I've always wanted to, but like haven't really gotten the chance to, unless like I actually go to Mexico.
Tomorrow will be my first gig. It's happening here at the school on the Calamath building.
The Calamath building is kind of a special place for the university, and while we're not housed there right now, the mural that they've made, that they've created for the building is a very, very special thing for actually Mexican culture. Like if you go to Mexico, you see murals all over the place. That's a very important representation of Hispanic culture. Mariachi for me is the embodiment of Mexican culture.
Whenever I play mariachi music, especially mariachi music, it feels like I can feel it here from my heritage. I'm honoring my parents, and it feels different than playing classical music and music on my own, because this is music that I am honored to play, music that I am representing like a whole country by playing.
It's so much bigger than just Mexico, but it's such a beautiful, expressive style that people love. When they go to a mariachi concert, they're happy, and that's what mariachi is.
For more information on the Mariachi Major and the coursework, you can go to msudenver.edu. 2 weeks from tonight is election night. How are you doing with filling out your ballot? There are a lot of local issues to read up on, more so than a lot of statewide issues. To highlight some of them, we turn to Kyle Dyer and the team at Colorado Inside Out.
Hi, Bozzy and Ryan. You two are probably getting lots of flyers in the mail and text messages, you name it, promoting various measures on the November 4th ballot. Yes, there is lots of talk already about next year's midterm election, but there's a lot of stuff up for consideration that will affect how communities across Colorado operate. So we brought this up during this week's Colorado Inside Out. Everyone who is registered to vote in Colorado has received their ballots in the mail by now. Election Day is a little over 2 weeks away, and there are 2 statewide measures and a lot of local measures on the ballot. So let's talk about some of what voters are facing. Can I mention at first, oddly enough, with the timing in Pagosa Springs, where the rushing waters took out a tree, which then took out an old pipe, releasing sewage into the water? Voters are actually deciding on a 1% sales tax increase to fund the town's sanitation infrastructure. Patty, the timing of that, but there's so much that we've got 2 weeks to learn what we're facing and what we have to decide on.
Well, I'm thinking Pagosa Springs will definitely pass. Let's first give a moment of thanks that we are still getting mail-in ballots. The Colorado, which has been the gold standard for mail-in ballots for accessibility in voting, not corruption, that's accessibility, that we get those mail-in ballots, which gives us time to really look over the subjects, to sit and fill them out at our kitchen table when it's going to take some time. And it is going to take some time if you're in Denver and you're looking at the Vibrant Bond issue, Vibrant Denver Bond, divided up into 5 different sections, but within each section are a lot of different projects. So it's going to take you time to go over that. There's 310 also on the Denver ballot, which is, are we going to ban flavored tobacco? The opposition put it on the ballot. It's an ugly one. I don't know who else is getting all the emails that I am, but that's going to be hard fought. And then statewide, you've got LL and MM School lunches for kids sounds very no-brainer, but people are fighting that too. But Vibrant Denver is where people are spending the money right now.
And then up in the high country in some of the mountain communities, there's options to raise lodging taxes. You have written a lot about this for Sum and Substance, various mountain communities, and talk about some of the reasoning and some of the reaction to this measure.
Yeah, these are interesting measures. These are the ones I want to emphasize. The Colorado Chamber isn't weighing in on these local issues, but I've been covering them because they clearly affect local economies and local business. What happened is up until this year, counties could only charge a 2% lodging tax. The state limits what counties can do and things like that. This year, a law passed that changed it to allow counties to up their lodging tax to 6% in unincorporated areas only. And whereas before the lodging tax money could go only to tourism marketing, to childcare, and to affordable housing, now it can also go to public safety and public infrastructure. And the reason why, a lot of counties said, look, the tourists that are coming in are weighing on our infrastructure. We need to have them help pay for the roads that are deteriorating, for the sheriff's calls going to Airbnbs. I think a lot of the hotel and tourism industry has been saying, look, we understand the need to share the load here, but is this really the right time? Tourism is slowing down a little bit, and they're worried that the boost in taxes, if these pass, would make visitors maybe think twice about coming, but more so think twice about going out to dinner or out to a show. It's really a good question and a good debate about what role should tourists play in paying for the towns they're visiting.
Okay, all right, Marianne, what are you watching?
I'm watching 3A in Littleton. But first, I want to thank Jefferson County and the city of Lakewood for no bond measures, no tax. And my ballot will take 5 minutes tops to fill out. All I have to do is go look at school board and city council races. It's great. It's the shortest ballot I've seen in ages. 3A in Littleton is really fascinating in the context of the executive order that Jared Polis issued in July that would put some roadblocks for cities and towns that don't cooperate on some of the housing bills that we have seen passed in the legislature in the last couple of years. This is hundreds of millions of dollars. 6 communities have filed lawsuits. 3A would put a stop to plans by the city of Littleton on denser housing. And about half of the housing in Littleton is single-family homes, and the people who are pushing this want to keep the character of those communities the same. Littleton didn't join in this lawsuit. Was not one of the 6 communities. However, one of the candidates for mayor does supports that lawsuit. He doesn't want to see this density issue either. And the city of Littleton, of course, has not chosen to participate in this lawsuit. So that's one of the things that I kind of find curious about this issue and its ties to what's going on at the state level.
Okay, all right, and Christy.
Well, so I'd like to draw attention to school board candidates. I think as serving on the State Board of Education myself, I'm really interested in who serves on the local school boards because Colorado is a local control state. That's what our state constitution says. Most of the decisions around your child's education are made at that local level. And so I just encourage all voters to actually take the time to look into the candidates running for school board, and a lot of people get a little confused because there's no partisan affiliation. So they're like, well, I want to know, for city council and school board, if these people are aligned with my values or not. A lot of local parties on both sides will put out that information and identify the candidates that do align more with your values. So I think voters taking the time to look into that, research it. These are also local candidates. A lot of them will answer questions from voters, or you'll get a lot of issue-related material in your mailbox, maybe over text. I'd say pay attention to that. Give some thought to who would best represent your interests when they're dealing with your kids, and then all the local issues in your city as well.
Okay. Can I add something to this? This is a Jefferson County issue. I was looking at the school board candidates, and the thing that I found really intriguing is that there are several people running in District 5. The current chair, a woman by the name of Mary Parker, and she has been endorsed, I think, by the Jefferson County, or I'm sorry, by the Democratic Party. But if you look at what the Jefferson County Education Association is endorsing, they didn't endorse her, which I thought was really interesting. They endorsed somebody else. And so this shows a real interesting split in between the teachers' unions and the Democratic Party, which you don't actually see very often in Jefferson County.
That's just one of the topics we talked about on the latest episode of Colorado Inside Out. For the entire show, go to pbs12.org, the PBS Passport, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. We're currently gearing up for this week's show, so we'll see you here on PBS 12 this Friday at 8. Have a great week.
Season 1 of Colorado Soundstage takes us on a musical journey of live performances at stunning venues all over Colorado. This PBS 12 original series showcases legendary folk band Elephant Revival performing live at the Bluegrass Festival in Telluride. The Rocky Mountains are a majestic backdrop there, filled with the smooth melodies of lead singer Bonnie Payne's voice and her band's instrumental charm. Thanks for watching Studio 12. Don't forget you can follow us on social media and on YouTube. And we look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday night at 8. I'm Bazi Kanani. Have a great week.
Thanks so much, everybody. This one's called Sea Monster. So in 100 years, when we're all dust,
Yeah.
and somebody picks up their whatever people play music on in 100 years,
Right.
and they hear an Elephant Revival song, what do you hope they feel?
It's a big question. You're good. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I think I would hope it would remind them of this, or like help them have a sense of it. Be like a bridge to that or something. Like a reminder of the tapestry of nature that we're interwoven, and that we're, you know, I see this like sub-reality layer of technology being woven that's beautiful and full of potential, but right now it doesn't feel like it's weaving in with what feels like what is actually going on sometimes. And so I worry about that differentiation and getting further and further, and people kind of living in a virtual reality almost, or a two-dimensional kind of binary reality that's polarized the way that we talked about, like a binary system kind of is, like either you are or you aren't. So I would hope, you know, if it's needed, that it would bring a reminder of just being part of all of this.
That's awesome.
We love all of you so much. Thank you for being here.
See, they're down at the liquor store, gone to drink those troubles in some more. Down at the old Rogue River, that old Rogue River. Down at the old Rogue River, that old Rogue River. You were Daddy's sunshine days, he left for good, went down to his grave. Mother Mary, full of grace, won't you watch these children in my place? I'm going under the river, that old Rogue River. I'm going under the river, that old Rogue River. See that nothing could be said but sung. There's a fire in the little ones, Lord, and it burns hot, Lord, and it burns bright. She believes in angels loving, watching over her, and sisters to Mama and Papa. God, angels will have to do for now. Lord, have mercy in my dying days. There's been too much leaving, there's been too much shame. Left my babies in the cold, now my heart it aches. I've been growing old. Feel it rise up into my throat. Lay these troubles down, lift my soul. I'm going to pray forgiveness, let me go. Pray my children and their children know not to do what I have done, but let go. Lay these troubles down, lift my soul, lift my soul, lift my soul. I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long, long way from my home. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom, freedom. lift up an old